What is the role of a Miss South Africa or a Mrs. South Africa? But, okay, Khanyisa, do you honestly think that if you were a size 38 or size 40, you would enter? I sit there, listen to the answers, and then the person that wins is the one that answered the worst, at least in my opinion, you know?
After losing my kids, I started to blame myself because one of the reasons is that
Welcome back, everyone, to Hot Seat with Penzola. I am Mrs. Penzola. Others call me Penny from Ezola, and my mom calls me Tumazile. And thank you so much for joining me for this episode. Hey, guys, today ngihleli no future Mrs. Mzansi, future Mrs. South Africa, and we're going to discuss, the journey of the pageant itself. But more importantly, we're going to include the element of mental health in our conversation. Khanyisa, welcome to Hot Seat with Penzola. Thank you so much for making the time to talk to us. But most of all, congratulations for making it to the semi-finalist list. And I think you are on a journey of getting into the finalists. But well done. You've done well so far, and I want to personally congratulate you. But yeah, before we get into the business of the day, tell me who Khanyisa is.
Okay, thank you so much. Khanyisa is a child who was born in Limpopo, but I'm currently residing in Sekunda in Mpumalanga.
Okay.
So I'm married for 12 years now. I have one daughter. Mm-hmm. Yes, and I am a teacher.
Nice.
A passionate teacher.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. So what is your interest in the pageant? I mean, it sounds like you've got an awesome life already. You're married for 12 years. You've got a daughter. You're a teacher, and you're passionate about teaching. And then, pageant. What happened there?
Yes. Okay. For the past 3 years, I think in 2020, yes, I felt pregnant and with twins. So when I was 6 months, something terrible happened. So I lost my twins. So after that, I fell into depression. There's several things that happened in those 3 years. So I separated myself, and I felt like life was not fair to me.
Wow.
And I started hating myself and just, like I lost who I was. So Mrs. South Africa, I'm like, okay, I want to try to get my voice back. I want to know who's this girl.
Yeah. Wow, that's actually quite amazing, because I think from what you're saying is you realize the bad experience and you are literally transforming it into a positive space and helping yourself get to a point where your voice is heard. Mm-hmm. Now, before, because you're saying something critical there, and I'll come back to it. But before we do that, it is interesting when you introduce yourself, you said you come from Limpopo. And I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Limpopo, ne? Because I used to say Limpopo. But your name is Khanyisa, and I think I'm just assuming. You know how people are, we make assumptions. Okay. Khanyisa to me sounds more Zulu, and but Limpopo. And I heard you speak Tsonga earlier, so that I found that interesting. I mean, it's not part of the story, but just to get to
understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so most of the names, we share the Tsonga names with the Zulu. I think even the way we speak,
really?
Most of the words. So historically wise, they said that Tsonga people are coming from KwaZulu-Natal. So I think that's why we share so many things.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, all right, cool. No, thank you, Khanyisa. I think let's then get back to your journey. You are in the semi-finalist. That's an achievement on its own.
Yes.
So I think you've gotten your voice back already, right? So talk to me about that journey. What the experience is, and how does it work usually? I mean, growing up as a child, beauty pageants were a thing, and there was a particular perception that, it's Miss South Africa, meaning, you're still young, you're still, your body's shaped nicely, you don't have kids, you're not married. There were particular criteria of getting into it. Mm-hmm. And now we have Mrs. South Africa, which I found to be quite inclusive. So talk to me about when did it start, and what are the processes for you to get to where you are, and then what's next for you to make it to the finalist?
For me, this is my first pageant to enter. So
you're very first. You've
yes.
never entered anywhere. Wow.
No. So as I explained earlier, that I was dealing with depression. So I sat down one day, and then I'm looking at this woman in the Mrs. South Africa pageant that telling us about it's a women empowerment, and I wanted to break the stigma. So to me, it wasn't about the crown, but it was about let me just go out there, then I can have a voice, and let me explain to people what mental health is. Let me try to open up what I've been dealing with in this past 3 years to break the stigma. That let's normalize talking about mental health. Let it make it a norm that we go through this thing, but it's not an end. So I wanted to use a platform to voice my thoughts and share my journey. So that's the main reason that I entered Mrs. South Africa.
Wow. It sounds to me that not only were you trying to get your voice back, but you are actually trying to normalize mental health and remove the stigma that it comes with. Did you at any point while you were going through that depression feel that you had no one to talk to? Was there a stigma around it while you were going through it?
Yes, a lot. Because when after losing my kids, I started to blame myself because one of the reasons is that the reason I lost them, I gave, while I was pregnant, someone just approached me, and then they asked for me to help them. So at first, I thought, you know what, I don't want to do this, when you grow up, they warn you about not exchanging clothes and things like that. But the person persistently come and explain okay, at home we are facing, this is the situation, we don't have clothes, my siblings don't have clothes, and you really have to help out. So somehow I fell in, and then I gave the clothes after a week, and I just started having complications. So after that, that's why I went to the hospital, and unfortunately I lost my kids. So after, I started blaming myself. I killed, I didn't even blame the person or anything, but I felt I was the reason. Yes. Wow. So I didn't forgive myself. I felt I was the reason behind that. So when I was going through that, I realized that many people, especially most of my friends and my family is Christian based. So when I want to try to voice out, they will be giving me verses, trying to numb the pain. But all I needed it was to talk. But you were not
hearing
yes, I needed someone to listen to me. I wanted someone to hear what I was going through. So yeah.
Yeah. So it must have been such a dark space to be in, to blame yourself for something that you actually are not responsible for. I mean, we live in a world where there's higher powers, be it God or whoever. When something needs to happen, it will happen. Whether we are in control or not. But the reason I'm saying that is I want to move over to understanding now the reason you've gone into this pageant and finding your voice, which you've done exceptionally well. Like I said earlier, how has that then contributed to your personal growth and your self-discovery? I know earlier on you mentioned it's women empowerment, you didn't know anything about social media, they're teaching you stuff, but how significantly has this journey contributed to who Khanyisa is today versus who Khanyisa was before?
Okay, one thing I realized is that in the time that we're living, people, I think it's so much into social media and, the power of the search. So whenever maybe I speak then as Khanyisa. I tried to voice my, I wanted to speak to people. They couldn't like really listen to me, but immediately like I'm putting on the search, there is that power of, you know what, this person is out there. They put themselves out there. Let's like have, let's hear what they want to say. And also like maybe approaching the radio station is different like when you just go like as Khanyisa, but immediately like you explain to them that I'm in this journey, I entered Mrs. South Africa, they quickly like want to hear more about you.
So people like status,
yeah.
right? So this is what you are telling me. People like status. So if you're just normal Khanyisa, they're not going to hear you talk about this mental health and the importance of it and the stigma. But as soon as you have this Mrs. South Africa, say, whatever you call it, it's okay, no, maybe we can listen. And you are reminding me of another conversation in one of my earlier episodes that I had with Dr. Cindy van Zyl, who was quite famous on Twitter at the time, on social media. And for her to have admitted on Twitter and that she was diagnosed with depression, and she was a doctor. You know, when she spoke to me, she was saying she even lost friends in the medical fraternity, because as a doctor it was seen taboo for her to admit that she was diagnosed with depression. So it does seem to be an issue that we need to unpack, because if we are only going to listen to people because of their status, then it means that as a nation we're not really ready to listen to the topics that need to be spoken about. Because without this, I'm happy to talk to a Khanyisa and understand who she is. But nevertheless, you are right. We live in that world. But I like how your foresight in terms of, in order for me to be heard, this is the platform I need to go to. Because I want this message to go across, but it won't go across if I just come as Khanyisa is naked. So therefore I need to put something on it for me to be heard. And I really must recommend you for that. And I think you will probably achieve what you want to achieve and land through this journey. Next question for me is, how do you balance all of it? You are this individual that's on her own journey, who's trying to find herself, who's trying to be a better person, and you have found a platform to go with. Then you're a wife. You've said to me you've been married for 12 years. I've been married for I don't know how many years as well, but I know what that is, that role. And you've got a daughter, so you're a mother, and you're a teacher, and you're passionate about teaching. These 4 hats. How do you balance the 4 hats?
Well, okay, I think it's very important that you have your non-negotiables. What I'm trying to say is that when I do certain things, I know that these ones, they come first, no matter what. For example, my family, the schedule of my daughter, like spending time with my family, and then also making sure that I'm completing everything that is required for me as a teacher. So that I think it definitely like come first. So then after that, now I start planning. How do I like maybe juggle around the other things? For example, we have to make content. So I will plan on the days where I need to do certain content. When do I do this? So I think planning is very important, and also prioritizing things that you need to do.
So what I'm hearing is, as a person, you need to sit down and plan around yourself and ensure that there are non-negotiables. And these are the things you will prioritize, and then the rest of the stuff you can play around with. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes, I think it's very important.
So Khanyisa, I must say to you, when I was growing up, I always had my own opinions around what beauty pageants are about, and I just want to understand from you before I ask my question. As a young girl, what were your thoughts about beauty pageants? What did you see them as?
Okay, as I explained, like this is my first. So like
And
when
I'm surprised this is your first and you've done well. Yeah, yeah.
yes, so like when I was growing up, yes, there were ladies who will enter, and really, I really thought like maybe it's for certain people. So and you have to
Explain to me certain people. What certain
like
people?
you need to be beautiful, be bold enough, to stand in front of people. So I always thought like in order for you to enter, you need to be in a specific way. So which like for me at that time, I didn't like really
You
think
didn't
about
feel
it.
like you were good. You were good enough.
Yes.
And now, do you feel you are beautiful? You're confident, and you can be bold enough to stand in front of a stage.
Honestly, I really do, because I think I owe it to myself, I owe it to myself to feel beautiful, because I need to feel that, I need to realize that I am beautiful. I need to internalize it. So, and shut all the noise that I've been telling myself all those
There's
years.
these negative voices. What is the role of a Miss South Africa or a Mrs. South Africa?
Okay, I think...
Say you get to the finalist and you win. Then what?
All right. One thing I think, remember, this is about branding. Mrs. South Africa already made their own brand, and it's very powerful, as I explained, that whenever you use their brand, your voice is bold enough. So I believe that entering is not only about being beautiful, but you're also creating a brand. So I'm also like coming out like South Africa. This is Khanyisa. Khanyisa is passionate about this. So she's passionate about mental health. She's a women's builder. She's a woman to woman. So I think it's about building yourself and building the brand. So it's not only like about a pageant, really.
So can I enter Mrs. South Africa or Miss South Africa if I'm a size 40?
Yes, I think anyone can.
Okay.
Because as I told you, why do you enter? What do you want to achieve in life? After Mrs. South Africa, what do you see yourself doing? So I think it's all about that, because really you meet all different women, and there is so much lesson that you learn in the sisterhood, and you realize that there is so much life, there's so much to life that it can give. So I think it's also pushing you to not relax and stay in your comfort zone.
But okay, Khanyisa, do you honestly think that if you were a size 38 or size 40, you would enter Miss South Africa? I mean, you look pretty proper, but if you were a size 38, would you enter it? Would you think you even have a chance of winning?
As I said, it's about building a brand, because even when I entered, I didn't even think I'm worthy enough to win it. So it was not even about the beauty or my body, but I entered with a vision of, this is what I want to achieve. This is what I want to learn out of this. So even when I get a crown or not, this is who Khanyisa is. This is what Khanyisa has achieved. So I think that is very important. And then the crown would be just the benefit. Yes.
So currently with the semi-finalists, I suppose you've met all the ladies. You know them. Are you guys all the same size?
No, different sizes. There are those who are
bigger than you?
Yes. Okay. There are those who are a size 40, 42, as you're saying. Yeah. So they also came with the vision of what do I want to achieve by this.
No, that's great. And guys, the reason I'm asking this question is because, like I said, growing up as a child, we had multiple Miss South Africas, and then Mrs. South Africa didn't even exist. And once you've had a child, you just didn't get it. You didn't stand a chance. And for me, it was always about how you look, the thin, and light skin, the hair, and you're starting only to see now Abo Zozibini when they win Miss Universe with their own natural hair. But I've never understood the role of a pageant. I've never understood what you get it and then what, because you have previous Miss South Africas that have won, who then won, and then they went into different careers and they went into different directions. And I think just being Miss South Africa for me was seen as a platform to diversify and be known, and then so someone can give you a chance elsewhere. But not necessarily that I just didn't see it as something that was worth anything, and that's just my opinion. But also there was that myth, not a myth, but there was also an assumption that beauty is without brains, right? So if you look good, and there was always that section, does it still happen, where they ask you these questions? You have a panel of judges and they ask you the questions, and then some of the answers, and then I sit there, listen to the answers, and then the person that wins is the one that answered the worst, at least in my opinion, So and that's where I'm coming from with that. So are you seeing a shift in how it's done today versus back then? Obviously, because South Africa is South Africa, whether you're Miss or Mrs. I think the brand is still South Africa. So are you seeing a difference in what you thought it was then and how you are actually experiencing? Because when you're in it, you can teach us a few things sitting here and watching.
Okay, I would say there is a difference, because if you check at the kids that we are raising right now, so they really need to look on someone in order for them to say, you know what, if this person is coming maybe from the village and now they're up there, I can also do it. As a teacher, I can relate a lot, because in school, kids face bullying a lot, and it's becoming even a global issue. So these kids grow being bullied. They don't feel good enough. They're ashamed of who they are. But if they see that, someone who's around us, who's coming from around us, can stand up and become out there, and they do different things, I can also achieve it. So I believe that there is a difference. In terms of questioning, I cannot be sure, because as I said, this is my first time. Yes.
Do you think the kids that you teach love you more now that you're a semi-finalist? Do they know that you are in the semi-finals as Mrs. South Africa?
They do.
They do know. They love you more, and they try and be a teacher's pet more than
No,
before?
I try to be a teacher more than because when you're in the school environment, you really need to be a parent. There's so many things that they come across. So if I come with a sash, I really need to be a parent, but I'm always encouraging them that they can become whatever they want in life. They must not allow anything to block them. So that's what I encourage them.
So what are some of the questions that they ask you, that you find funny, and that they ask you now that they know and outside of just you being their teacher and it sounds more to me like you're more than just a teacher for them, you're a motivator. But now that you're in this journey, what are some of the silly questions that they've asked you?
To them, I'm already Mrs. South Africa, So I think it would be amazing to know the outcome, how it's going to be, and what they're going to ask. So I'm just curious, because to them, I already won.
You've already won. Yes. And you have already won. Tell me, what's your support structure? I mean, we spoke about wearing the different hats, and you said to me there's non-negotiables and how you operate. But we all know, that our support structure is quite critical. So what does your support structure look like right now, with this journey and the 4 different hats that you need to put on a daily basis?
Okay, I think sometimes it's a bit challenging, because I stay away from my family, they're in Limpopo, and most of the time I'm in Mpumalanga. So I had to find people who really supports me, especially my husband. He's been there, and having to try to be there in everything and what I need. But most importantly is the people around me, my colleagues, my friends. There is this lady I just recently met. I think I was going to do a photo shoot as Natasha.
Yes.
So in my journey, she's been so supportive. She offered to take content, pictures. She's a photographer. So she just out of nowhere, she doesn't know me very well. So it's just amazing how people are supporting.
Yeah. So when the universe is ready for you, things will fall into place, right? Yeah. So looking ahead, right, in terms of your goals and aspirations, and you've touched on it a bit, because you spoke a lot about how you want your voice back, and how you want to, because of what you had gone through, you want to ensure that less and less people go through it, and you want to put a support structure. What's that ultimate goal in terms of your efforts to promoting mental health? What is your North Star? When you say you've now achieved what you wanted to do, what would that look like?
Okay, I'm not sure if I understood you correctly, but what I'm trying to do right now is to make sure that any platform that I get, I happen to speak about mental health, how we can support people who are dealing with mental health. So I sometimes like speak in radio and then concerning mental health, what is depression, anxiety, because like I even like dealt with anxiety a lot, where I was even afraid to talk in front of people. Sometimes I'll be forgetful. So it really like even contributed a lot that, rather I not stand because people will judge me and they are not even understanding what I'm going through. So I think whenever I get a chance, I speak about it.
For someone who didn't understand my question, I mean, that was a perfect answer. But anyway. And I think lastly, I want to just say, obviously you've shared quite a lot of yourself, and you spoke about a subject that I think globally it's a difficult thing for us as human beings to understand and accept, and there's very few of us that do that. And as the Hot Seat with Penzola family, we would want to support you on your journey of getting to the finalist and ultimately winning the title. But let's talk about why people must vote for you. Why must the people vote for Khanyisa and support her in this journey?
Okay, I believe people must support me.
Please speak to them. They are there. They are there.
Okay, please vote for me because I want to be that voice to many young people, women, not only women, but also men, because, mental health is something that is affecting everyone. So I want to be that voice to everyone to say that let us normalize this. Committing suicide is not an issue. There are people who are willing to help you. So that's what I want people to know, that it is possible to bounce back. So vote for me, as I want to build my brand in building the community that is free to speak about anything and being supportive towards each other.
Great. I love that. I really love that. Guys, I hope you're listening. And I think she said it. Vote for Khanyisa. And we will put, there's details on the screen of how you can vote for her. And let's support it. Let's support her not only for the work that she would like to do in the mental health space, but the inclusivity and with men as well. Because it is, if we still have a stigma with women, I can only imagine what it's like on the other end. But yeah, just you mentioning the inclusivity for me is a big thing. Thank you so much for coming. I truly appreciate your time. I know you guys have a busy schedule, and you making time today is something I really would like to thank you for. As I close out, I know you said you speak Tsonga. I need you to teach me how to say goodbye in Tsonga. As part of my closing. How do you say goodbye in Tsonga?
Nikensile kuba mibe na yena.
Nikensile?
Kuba mibe na yena ka show.
Yo, okay, that's a difficult one, guys. But I'll just do Nikensile, and then we take it from there. But thank you so much, guys. You heard it. Mrs. South Africa semi-finalist. She wants to get to the final, to be a finalist, and then ultimately get the title. Please vote. There's details on the screen. Thank you so much for tuning into this conversation. It was really, really an awesome conversation. You know what to do. Share with your friends. Tell your friends to tell other friends. And, subscribe, like, and comment. Please ask her for any questions that you want to ask her, especially on the mental health piece. I will get her to answer your questions. Nikensile. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Na cancer. Mara Nikensile is wrong.
Right.
Yeah, ni right.
I'm saying na cancer.
Salayo.
Salayo, you are there.